Lowrider fam? This is Michelle
Cynthia.
and we are the Moms and Montes. We're back for episode number 2, and we wanted to, touch a little bit on the problems that come with driving an old school lowrider.
Having a lowrider.
Because there is problems that come, with it.
Yeah, everyday problems that people don't really know about. So they think it's just the glam and the luxury and cruising, and then sometimes you get a flat tire or something happens, and they don't get to see kind of like behind the scenes.
Yeah. Or
your car catches on fire when it's hopping, stuff like that. So we kind of want to touch base on it.
Yeah. So diving right in, like, have you had like any experiences that you could kind of tell us about?
All the time. I feel like all the time. Anytime I go and my dad's hopping somebody's car, somebody's brakes, something breaks.
Yeah.
Like this weekend when we were out going on a Sunday afternoon, we left and 15 minutes later we had to pull over on the side of the road, and Justin's ball joint came undone, and it was just trying to find a jack and trying to find tools. And I know Jaime went to your guys' house to go get a jack, and my dad came, I think, with the vice grips and a screwdriver.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of just got together to kind of put this damn car back together.
Yeah. And like you said, it happens all the time. I've seen it like on Instagram, Instagram, YouTube, people on their way to shows, to hops, events, and you see them on the side of the road.
Yeah, shit happens.
Like you said, we eventually come together, we put it back, and we end up making it there, but it happens,
Yeah, and people don't go to places like with a jack and tools. Like some people do, but you don't think it's gonna happen to you, and then it does, and then you're like kind of scrambling and trying to figure out like, okay, you go get this, like to kind of come together and put it back together. So it sucked because once they got the ball joint and they got the bolt and everything back together, everything was cool. Then his back tire on that same side went flat. So then it's like now we gotta go to the tire shop. Now we gotta go here. Now we gotta go here. So it was hectic, but they had beer. It was hot, but they had beer, so that's all that mattered for them.
Yeah, and that's one super cool thing about it, though. Like you said, we had fun.
Yeah.
And that was possible because we all came together, as a community, as friends, which is, I think, super important, when it comes to, driving a lowrider. I think it's the community that makes it fun, makes it easier, makes it, it helps you, get through those difficult times that you might not think
you're
going
to
go through.
Everybody does the fun times together, but like, what about the low times when you got something going on? I know after shows sometimes that will be there and people will need help putting their cars back on the tow truck or trying to go home, something broke or something. So my dad always like stays there, and I'll be in my chair watching because I don't know how to fix any of that stuff. But it's nice to see, you know what I mean? Like us to help, and I love that our boys will see that we help each other, knowing that if they do decide to go into the lowrider community, that they'll always have support.
Yeah. And again, it happens all the time. When you're in the hot pit, I'm coming from a photographer standpoint, I see it a lot, in the
I don't stand close enough for that. Nope.
Yeah, I know. There's been plenty of times where I'm like, oh my god, I should probably
there's stuff flying. There's models like standing in front of the cars, and I'm like, you don't know what's behind your back, and you're standing there? That's crazy.
Yeah, and it just happens when you least expect it. Like you said, this past weekend was,
we were doing nothing, just going, having a good time, and boom, just one thing after another.
We were ready to go have a good old Sunday
afternoon.
Yeah, shout out to Bobby.
We didn't make it in, but it's all right. He had a good event.
It was a great turnout. Yeah, by the time we got there, it was at capacity. We couldn't get in.
Hayden from outside the club couldn't get in.
I was just thinking the same thing right now. But
we still made the best of it.
It was a long, it was like you said, it was like 4 hours that we were out there
sitting out there,
And it didn't really feel like that.
It didn't. It was hot.
It was.
I think the heat made it feel like it was a long time, but it was just trying to grab everything, trying to get everything. I called my dad. My dad was in his pajamas, just trying to help. Jaime was going to go get parts, and we went to go get to your house, right, to go get the jack. And my sister and my brother-in-law were driving around. Luckily, they brought a Jeep. They were smart. They didn't bring a lowrider because they're like, nope, it's too hot.
Yeah.
But we were able to have that, all of us kind of together. Club shirts were coming off. Boys were sweating. Beers were opening.
The white tees came
out.
out.
Yeah. It was definitely a good time.
Yeah. And it's super cool that it was a lot of us.
Yeah.
So what could have took way longer than 4 hours
for one person,
happened quick for us, because like you said, this person was going here, this person was going here, your dad was coming, and it just made it so much easier, so much better, and we made the best of it. So I think
had a party in its own, out of somebody's apartment complex.
Yeah, I think somebody, when we posted that video, somebody, shout out to PC, by the way, that did that video for us. Somebody commented, "Hey, that's my neighborhood."
Oh my god!
I gotta go back and see who that was. But I was like, that's so cool that people are like, saying
we're all broken down.
but I mean, the community, again, back to that, like it is important.
It's a big family.
And another thing, like we are talking also about breaking down, which is, I think, important for the girls out there that see us out there, or see the other girls and wanna be out there too. Like, keep in mind that these things do happen. And most people on their Instagram, they post the good times,
stuff,
You're out there, cruising or hopping, you have a good hop.
It's the other people that always post your bad stuff and they go viral on it.
Yeah. But I don't think that a lot of people are actually aware, it's a little bit more behind the scenes type of deal, and you don't really know it until you go through it, and it happens. And again, it's when you least expect it, when you're
ready to go, you're having a good time, you're thinking nothing of it. And it's crazy because that morning they changed your tires and my tires that morning. Shout out to our husbands. When we're getting ready, my tire, I go through tires like crazy just because of my hydraulics. So I'm always going through tires. But like for yours, you needed new tires too. So in the morning they rushed. They were worried about our cars. And then for his to go down, I felt so bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, man.
Yeah, and it's funny because you were like, oh, the boys are running around getting tires. They're not going to have time to get ready. And it didn't matter because the shirts came off anyway.
Right. They were sweating.
They were sweating.
Poor guys. But I mean, that's also like a bond for them as well, to like work together to kind of get the car going.
Yeah.
But it was nice. Like I said, they were all having a great time. They were cracking beers. They were getting shit done, and eventually we got up 3 hours later. We made it.
Yeah, we made it.
We made it to somewhere, and it was packed, and we couldn't get in.
But again, that was another little hiccup, and we just went, and we still had a good night.
Yeah, we still went somewhere else and had a good time.
Yeah, we sure did.
But then on the way home,
oh my god, I completely forgot about that.
On the way home, that same tire that he originally got flat. I think it was the driver back tire.
The back one.
Yeah, and it went flat, and on the way home it went flat again. So it was like a long. So then here they go in the Jeep, having to go and go get a spare.
Yeah, and by that time, we had already got home because we went, we went our separate ways, and we're like, no, we have to go back.
I had to call. I'm like, where are you guys at?
We're like, we have to go back. And even Jaime was like, we might not be able to help much, but we'll go.
We'll go. You
go
guys came for support. Emotional support. It was great.
And that's what makes it like special, you build this community that you can rely on. And when they need help, you need help, you're there to help and support each other. And
that's what the community needs. They need support.
Yeah. From all around.
From everybody. That's what's gonna make the Lowrider community stronger. Is we're all a family. We're all in it together. We're all doing the same stuff. Nobody's nobody's better than anybody. We need to support each other, especially when it comes to shit like that, because everybody needs to have that support.
Yeah. Imagine doing it alone.
Alone, by yourself. I could not imagine doing all that alone.
I actually have been like, not stranded alone, but like little things that I've broken in my car where I am there by myself because I'm not I'm not cruising or anything with anybody. I'm just driving my car.
You're just doing mommy pickups.
Stuff like that, yeah. Going to McDonald's, that's where my car got stranded the last time. And it's during the week, everybody's doing their own thing. Nobody's cruising, there's no events. So being there by myself, waiting for a tow truck, it's not that fun.
It's not fun.
It's really not. So having the community, having those people, you know, really does make a whole lot of difference, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we have to, you know, keep going. And like you said, like, it'll make everybody, you know, more united. Unity, you know, is what it should be all about, I feel like.
And that's something that we want our kids to see too as well. Mm-hmm. To be able to be like, you know, when I was younger, my dad's car broke down and all his friends helped. Like, mm-hmm. I want to be like that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where a lot of my husband does too, because he sees my dad in the community, like, stay back, and he helps everybody. He don't care. He's underneath the cars. He's in his club shirt and all. He doesn't not care. He'll be putting hydraulics back together and doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah. He doesn't care. But I love that, because then my husband sees that, mm-hmm. and my kids will see that, and they'll want to be that kind of person, you know?
Yeah. Totally agree. And it's whatever you want your kids to be, you know. You set that example, and I feel like this is something that we have to keep, you know, going. Like you said, going back to, you know, the breaking down and everything, I would like to put that out. I didn't expect that, you know. When I got my car, I was like, oh my god,
it was the coolest thing ever. Yes, it's the coolest thing ever.
It looks so cool. And I got super lucky that my man knows how to work on stuff, so he has, you know, helped me so much, you know, when it comes to my car. He, you know, when we barely got together, he used to do everything for me. But seeing, like you said, seeing everybody, you know, put their hands in has been a little push for me to, you know, be under the car too. I want to do it.
I want to help too.
So it's caught my attention, and it's like made me, you know, want to be able to learn as well, you know. I think that's something that they should also have in mind, like, be willing to learn, get your hands dirty.
Don't get discouraged.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, YouTube, you'll learn everything on there.
Everything. Like I mean, you can look it up and, you know, get out there and try it yourself. And
if you don't, call somebody.
You don't want to. Worst thing that can happen is you do it again.
Or you have to pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
All right, and on that note, we're going to take a quick break.
Speaking of breaking down and fixing, repeating, let's talk about the cost.
Well, it just depends on what you break, though. I feel like, because he literally broke a bolt, and it was like $6, I think.
Easy fix.
Yeah, so it was something easy. But like, if you break something in your hydraulics, and I think that little clip that you showed, somebody broke their bumper. Like, it just it just all depends. Yeah, the bumper flew off, or their car catches on fire. Mm-hmm. I think it just all depends, like, what is broken. And those are all daily lowrider problems. Because if you're hopping out in the hot pit, I know you've had your fair share of fires and ball joints, and I'm trying to think what else. Tires flying off. July and Daniela from Majestics, they recently broke their rim on their tire from hopping. So
whatever.
So I'm like, it just depends on what you're doing and what you break too. So it could be expensive, it could be not expensive. I know for me, like, every time I hop my car, I burn a motor. Those are pretty pricey too, but I always tell my dad, it's fine. Like,
You
14 burnt motors won't hurt nobody.
You got it. And that's not accounting for other things that are just gonna break because your car's just old.
Yeah. It's like normal wear and tear, like just from you driving it. Like that bolt, I think he said he hit a bump and it just, I mean, it's not anything crazy that he's doing. It's everyday driving that stuff like that can happen. Like recently your alternator went out.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just normal wear and tear, I guess, with the old cars. It just comes with it.
Yeah, definitely. And my tire too. It just wear and tear.
Wear and tear, yeah.
Things that happen. But to build the car, and what about that cost?
It just like that too just depends. It just all depends. A lot of like who you know. Like so for me, like I told you, my dad does hydraulics, my cousin Angel does tires, and my uncle paints. So it's kind of like a family thing. So it wasn't. I can't really give you like a real cost on it. Yeah, because he did it for us the first time, and we painted it twice. But it gets pretty expensive, and depending on how much you want to put into it. Like if you just want to paint it one color, that's one price. But if you want to leaf it, if you want to pinstripe it, if you want to put flake in it, if you want patterns, it just all depends. There's just a lot.
It all just factors in.
Yeah. Just depends how far you want to put into it.
Yep. And it just back to the community, depends who you know, who you're friends with,
who's your family.
Know who you support, who supports you, all that. And you know, when we all help each other, it just makes it easier.
Yeah.
But
are you excited to paint your car?
Very, very excited. Yeah. Hopefully we can get it done here. Because it's gonna start cooling down soon.
Yeah.
Start putting.
I feel like a lot of it's on hold right now. So that because it's hot, it's super hot. I started doing body work on a car that I've been working on, and it just got really hot. And I was like, all right, I quit. I'm not gonna touch it until it starts to cool down again.
Yeah.
And then the weather's crazy because one day it's hot, and then the next day it's raining, and then the next day it's humid. So it doesn't know what it wants to be right now.
Yeah. Well. At the end of the day, we go through these things. It happens, you know.
It's gonna happen. It's not gonna change.
And we make the best of it, like we did this past weekend, and we made it to the event.
Just make sure you take an ice chest with you, a beer,
and some waters.
And some water.
Yeah, because we were going to get little smart waters, big old smart waters. But yeah, like I said, you get through it. You go. Yeah, like I said, we hung out with some cool people. We got to hang out with Miss Frank Hydraulics out there, you got
that was the first time I got to meet her. She knows my dad, so she was like, I've known you guys since you were babies, but I actually got to meet her in person. We got to meet her daughter, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to see now, like, them, because, like, my dad, Locos Hydraulics, and Frank's Hydraulics, they've been the oldest in Arizona that have been doing hydraulics for so long. So now for us as daughters, me and my sister, to meet his daughter and to hang around them and, like, his wife, like, it was just a whole vibe this weekend. And I loved it. She was super nice. We hope to have her on here soon.
Yes.
Both of them, fingers crossed.
It'll be a fun time.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun time.
Yeah. And again, speaking of our community, I wanted to give a shout out to our photographers out there, doing their thing. We got a couple pictures back here that they've done. We got Tone back here, done at Frank's shop, and then I think this was Andy Sage,
and then JVX Media.
So shout out to them for doing their thing out there, always, taking pictures of everybody doing it, with love,
Yeah.
So
I love seeing pictures of our cars. It's awesome being tagged in it. So if you guys got any art you guys want displayed out here, hit us up.
Send it in the DM and, we'll print it and put it up there in one of our episodes.
Yep. All right, I think we're out till next time.
Just make sure you follow us on Instagram and on YouTube by Moms and Montes.
And also on Roku at You Know Network.